At 11,000 feet above sea level, this redefines elevation. Hey folks, Dad here with Elevation Diecast Racing. Welcome to the Back to the Basics stock race. Yesterday we had our qualifying runs, which left 4 races to get into the bracket. You'll notice some blank spots. We're going to run those off in the preliminary round. And then we're going to get back to the basics and see which of these main lines is going to emerge victorious in this race. Here is a look at the first 4 races, and this is a 1972 XY Aussie muscle car. It is a Ford Falcon. It's a really, really nice car. It's a red belly. I'm told that these are mystery cars like we would get here in the States, but they come in a box, like a matchbox. But man, what a sharp ride. I never knew. I don't have very many Oz wheels, so I'm pretty fortunate to be even looking at this in person. So shout out to Big Mike over at NZ Racing for sending this one in. Very nice car. All right, without any further ado, let's get back to the basics underway. Lined up and ready is qualifying 32nd overall, Bad Dad Racing. He'll be taking on Sparky Racer, who qualified 33rd overall. Sparky Racer in the Nomad and Bad Dad in the Bentley. Back to the basics is underway. Good race. The Bentley with a 2118. That will be the time to beat. Nomad out front, but the Bentley drives around them on the big end, and Bad Dad Racing making it into the bracket. Next 2 staged and ready. This is D20 Diecast in the Mustang Mach 1. Kirky G is your driver, taking on Big Mike in the 72 Ford Falcon. Mustang taken off with a 2115. 227 though, the fastest time the Falcon's put down. 2215 though is the time to beat. Mustang taking off with it, and Kirky G from D20 Diecaster will be rolling on into the bracket. Next 2 staged and ready from the Maniac Motorsports, qualifying 31st overall in his EV Silverado, taking on Ragin' Ricky from Oregon Outcast Diecast, qualifying 34th overall. And the EV taking it 2123 is the time to beat. EV Silverado with another 2123 rolling himself into the bracket. Next 2 up in the brackets, a couple high rollers going to duke it out here. We have qualifying 30th overall is Just in Time, and qualifying 35th overall is the Boggs Family Racing. Boggs Family Racing in pink. Just in Time is in blue. Blue taking it 2111, and that will be the time to beat. And Just in Time getting into the bracket. Also driving for Fool's Errand Racing. All right, the bracket's loaded. We're staged and ready with our first race. It's the number 1 qualifier overall. The Times 2 Whiskey Racing taking on Bad Dad Hobbies, who just made it onto the bracket. Let's go back to the basics. Wow, 2051 to start us off. 5 off the record will be the time to beat. 2056, rolling the Times 2 Whiskey to round number 2. Next 2 up staged and ready on the outside lane, qualifying 16th overall, is the Variet Skunkworks, taking on our 17th overall qualifier in EV11. This is Blue Line Racing. Good race. Blue line with a 206.4. That will be the time to beat. 206.9. Moving blue line to round number 2. Next up, qualifying 9th overall from the Chase Family Racing. This is Mad Jax taking on the EV Silverado, qualifying 24th overall. Your driver is Uncle Elvis. Viper with a 207.4, and is the time to beat. Viper again, holding it off. Moving on, Mad Jax to round number 2. Next up, staged and ready, we have the number 8th overall qualifier, the Bavarian Bomber, taking on the 25th overall qualifier, Rancid Cactus, in his McLaren. Cadillac versus McLaren. Woo, 206.2 to 94. Let's see, 206.2 is the time to beat. McLaren out front, but cannot hold them off. And the Cadillac from Bavarian Diecast. Moving on to round number 2. Next 2 up, we have in the Mach 1, Kirky G taking on the EV Silverado. Your driver is Willie G. EV Silverado with a 6.3, and that will be the time to beat. Woo, Willie G with a 206.7, moving himself to round number 2. Next 2 up in the blocks from Dutch Clutch Racing, qualifying 20th overall. This is Dutch Vandershift and his EV Silverado taking on the number 13th overall qualifier from 131 Racing. This is Kung Pao Kyle. Kyle taking it with a 206.9, and that will be the time to beat. Kyle moving himself on to round number 2, 071 in his Mustang. Next 2, staged and ready. Qualifying 12th overall in the Salt Shaker is Scoop from Poverty Hollow Diecast, taking on the number 21 overall qualifier from the Zamax Speed Shop in his EV Silverado. This is Dr. Z. Good race, 77 to 81. Let's switch those lanes. If that truck takes him out, this will be quite an upset, as the qualifying numbers have it. 207.7. Good race. 207.1 now by the Salt Shaker, moving Scoop to round number 2. Next 2 up in the blocks, staged and ready, qualifying 5th overall, is from Flips Racing. This is Flip taking on Iron Fang, qualifying 28th overall in his Formula Solar, representing Lone Wolf Racing. Wow, 206.1 to 94. Let's switch them. 206.1 is the time to beat. Wow, Flip turning on the juice. 205.9, moving himself to round number 2. All right, taking us over to the right side of the bracket, qualifying 31st overall is Maniac Motorsports in his High Roller. And then we have Hot Rod, qualifying 2nd overall in his EV Silverado. Wait, switch those. Maniac Motorsports is the Silverado, and Hot Rod is in the High Roller. Let's see who gets down the lane first. Wow, the High Roller, 205.5 is the time to beat. 207.0 this time. Rolling Hot Rod Customs to round number 2. Next 2 up in the blocks, staged and ready in the EV Silverado, qualifying 18th overall for Drift or Diecast. He'll be taking on the Salt Shaker, qualifying 15th overall. This is Craigster Sr. from Hot Nuts Diecast. Good race. Salt Shaker taking it 206.4 to 83. 206.4 is the time the EV needs to beat. Not going to get it done. 6.5 to 7.3, moving Craigster Sr. to round number 2. Next up, representing RWA Racing, this is Mr. Russell, qualifying 10th overall in his Silverado, taking on a 23rd overall qualifier, from the RC Addicts in his EV Silverado. RWA with a 2071, and that will be the time to beat. Good race, RWA. Mr. Russell moving himself to round number 2. Next two up, staged and ready. Qualifying number 26th overall. This is Raiders 67 Racing. Jim is your driver, taking on from the Low Country Diecast Racing League, qualifying 7th overall in his EV Silverado. This is Remy 12 gauge. Good race, 2064 to 74. The Infinity needs to best a 2064 to advance. Good race, 2065 by Remy 12 gauge, moving on for the Low Country Diecast Racing League. Next two up, staged and ready. Another open wheel high roller. Just in time, qualifying 30th overall, taking on the number 3 qualifier overall from Australia. This is Cut Rocker. Mark D is your driver in the Rally Special. Wow, Rally taking it 2:05.6, and that will be the time to beat. Rally Special taking it with a 2:06.2. We'll move him to round number 2. Next up, 2 EV Silverados on the inside lane, qualifying 14th overall. Clay from 131 Racing will be taken on, qualifying 19th overall. DXP Diecast Racing on the outside lane. Good race, 7.2 to 7.3. Let's switch them. DXP needs to break off better than a 2:07.2 advance. Can he do it? Clay drives around him on the big end. What a race, 2:07.1. Wow. Clay moving on to round number 2. Next up, staged and ready, qualifying 11th overall. This is Cam from Blue Line Racing, taking on Encount from the Chase Family Racing, qualifying 22nd overall in his Crescendo. 2:07.2 to 7.7. Encount needs to beat a 2:07.2. Woo, close race, 2:07.2 again. Cam moving on to round number 2. And for the last race in round number 1, qualifying 6th overall in his Salt Shaker, this is the Scale Racing Channel, taking on Maverick from 131 Racing in his EV Silverado, qualifying 27th overall. Salt Shaker taking out Maverick, 2:06.5 is the time to beat. Salt Shaker getting it done with a 2:06.1 now, moving Scale Racing to round number 2. So as we head into round 2, here's what's advancing. Definitely expected to see a lot more EV Silverados, but I'm glad to see a nice mix of cars heading into round number 2. Looking good so far. But first, we're going to take a little bit of time to clean the track after the first round. We'll give it a good wipe down, and we will be right back for round 2 and finale. Back to the basics after this. All right, we are back for round number 2. Let's kick it off. We got the ×2 Whiskey taking on Blue Line Racing. ×2, your top qualifier. And Blue Line in the EV Silverado. Let's see who takes it down the lane first. Ooh, good race, 59 to 67. 2:05.9 is the time Blue Line will need to beat. Wow, that high roller 2 scooting. 2:05.2, moving him into round number 3. Next up, we got Mad Jackson the Viper and Bavarian Diecast in the Hypercar. Jack's out in front. Oh, the Hypercar drove around him. 2:06.4 is the time to beat. Hypercar again, 2:06.2, moving Bavarian to the quarters. Next up, it'll be Willie G in the EV Silverado, taking on Kyle from 131 in the Mustang. Good race. Willie G with a 2:05.9. That'll be the time Kyle needs to beat. Willie G keeping the pressure on, moving him on to the quarters. Next two up in the blocks, we have Scoop and his Salt Shaker taking on Flip's EV Silverado. Good race. The EV taking it 2:06.2 is the time Scoop will need to shake out here. Not gonna happen. 2:05.8. The EV getting faster, moving Flip into the quarters. All right, next two up in the block, staged and ready. It's Hot Rod Customs and his High Roller taking on Craigster Sr. in his Salt Shaker. Should be a great race. Whoa, Salt Shaker getting a 2:06.4. Don't know what happened to the times for Hot Rod. He's a number 2 qualifier. I expected him to win that race. The only thing I can say, Craigster Sr. moving on. Open wheel. You take your chances with an open wheel casting, hitting the stop bag. Hot Rod Customs. Craigster Sr. moving on to round number 3. Next up from RWA Racing, this is Mr. Russell and his EV Silverado on the inside lane, taking on Remy 12 gauge from the Low Country Diecast Racing League. Great race. Remy pulling off the victory in this lane. 2:06.3 is the time Mr. Russell will have to beat. Wow, 2:06.0 moving Remy 12 gauge into the quarters. Next two staged and ready. It's Cut Rocker Diecast taking on 131 Clay. Let's see who takes it down the lane first. Rally Special 2:06.2 to 6.5. Good race. 2:06.2, the time that Clay needs to beat. Won't happen. 6-1 now by the Rally Special from Cut Rocker, rolling him into the quarters. All right. Last race of round number 2. This is Cam from Blue Line Racing and the EV Silverado taking on the Scale Racing Channel's Salt Shaker. Good race. Salt Shaker with a 2:06.0. And that will be the time to beat. For Cam, close race. 2:06.1 to 6.6. But it's the Scale Racing Channel rolling himself into the quarters. Oh yeah. Welcome back. Knobby Ridge Outlaw Diecast Racing. Was really good to see Victor Fastlane last night putting up a video. We're certainly praying for you, sir, to recover all that was lost. Just glad to see you, man, and we look forward to you racing once again at Elevation. And here is what the quarter round looks like. Shaping up to be a good race. Got a mix of vehicles. Definitely expected to see some EVs in this mix. Definitely did not expect to see that car, but leave it to Cut Rocker to send something like a Rally Special. I do like the wheels. A lot of guys aren't fans of the Aero Disc. I like the Aero Disc personally, but to each his own. Just what a great race. Well, let's see who's going to take a trip to the semis. Bavarian Diecast Racing in his Hypercar, taking on the Times 2 Whiskey in his High Roller 2. Wow, High Roller just taking off. Cadillac keeping up, cannot catch up. 2:05.3 is the time the Bavarian Bomber is going to need to beat. What a race. Closer race this time, 55 to 59, and the Times 2 Whiskey moving himself to the semifinal race. Next two staged and ready, we have Flips Racing in the inside lane, number 81, taking on Willie G with his EV Silverado. Who's going to the semis? Good race, Willie G with a 2:06.0, and that will be the time to beat. Willie G holding him off. Wow, moving on to the semifinal race. Next two in the blocks, Craigster Sr. in his surprising Salt Shaker, taking on Remy 12 gauge from the Low Country Diecast Racing League. Good race. Salt Shaker taking this one 63 to 71. Remy needs to pull off a 2:06.3. Good race. 206.1, he does it. Oh, my Lanta, I can't believe it. Oh, the EV Silverado Remy 12 gauge eliminating the Salt Shaker to move himself into the semifinal race. All right, last one from the quarters here. It is Mark D and his Rally Especial taking on Scale Racing Salt Shaker. Who gets down the lane first? What a race. Wow, close race. Salt Shaker driving around him on the big end. Wow. 2:05.6 is the time Cut Rocker needs to beat. And the Salt Shaker is going to be moving on to the semifinal race for Scale Racing Channel. Wow. So the first, the fourth, the sixth, and the seventh going at it in the semifinal race. Wow, what an incredible race. Lots of upsets in this one. All right, so on to the finals will be either the Times2 Whiskey Racing or Willie G from Polk County Diecast Racing. Let's see who gets down the lane first. Wow, high roller. Turning on the juice again. 2:05.1 will be the time that EV needs to beat. Good race. 2:05.6 now for the Times2 Whiskey, moving himself to the final race. And will it be Remy from the Low Country Diecast in his EV Silverado or Scale Racing Channel in his 30-gram Salt Shaker? What a race. Salt Shaker with a 2:05.1 now. Wow. 2:05.1 is the time to beat. Wow. 2:06.2 to 6:4, moving this Scale Racing Channel to round final. So there will be your race final. It'll be the Times2 Whiskey Racing taking on the Scale Racing Channel. Our race for third will be Willie G from the Polk County Diecast Racing and Remy from the Low Country Diecast Racing League. But first, we're going to take Flip and Bavarian Diecast. The winner of that race will face Craigster Sr. or Mark D from this race. Winner of that race, of course, will face the loser of the third place race to decide final fourth and fifth overall. So, Bavarian Diecast takes on Flips Racing. Here we go. Good race. 2:06.0 to 6:6. Flip needs to beat a 2:06.0. Gets the head start with a 6:6 only. Moving Bavarian on. He'll face Mark D or Craigster Sr. Mark D now. Rally Especial with a 2:06.0. That'll be the time Craigster needs to beat. 2:06.5 won't do it. Winner of this race will battle it out for fourth and fifth. Rally Especial 59 to 61. Good race. Bavarian Bomber needs to beat a 2:05.9. Oh, he does not do it. Wow. And the Rally Especial from Cut Rocker will await the loser from the third place race, which takes place right now. It's the Remy 12 gauge from the Low Country Diecast Racing League in the number 12, taking on Willie G from the Polk County Diecast and his EV Silverado. Who's going on? Third place. Good race. 66 and a 10,000 beat by Willie G is the time Remy will need to beat. Wow, Remy with a 5.8 now. Oh my Lanta, son. What a fantastic race. Wow. So Willie G and Cut Rocker now fighting it out for fourth and fifth. This is what this race will determine. 2:06.5 by the Rally Especial is the time Willie G will need to beat. Wow, Rally Especial keeps the heat on. What a turn of events here. Which brings us to the final race. First time racing here at Elevation Diecast is the Times2 Whiskey Racing in his High Roller 2, taking on veteran racer Scale Racing Channel in his 30-gram Salt Shaker, which tied the overall qualifying number of 2:0.51. Let's see who takes it down the lane first. Fastest lap after lane switching will be determined your winner. What a race. 2054 to 55. Let's switch them. All right. 2054 is the time that Scale Racing needs to beat. What is going to happen here? Hole 5-6. Woo! And the times 2 whiskey is your overall winner. Congratulations. What an outstanding performance for your first time here at Mile High. Scale Racing Channel coming in second. The Remy, his first time, this youngster from the Low Country Diecast Racing League. Remy 12 gauge and his EV Silverado taking third overall. Fourth place going to the Cut Rocker Diecast from Australia. And fifth place coming from the Polk County Diecast Racing. This is Willie G, placing fifth overall. That is how the Red Line Derby Racing results will read it. I want to thank everybody who participated in this event. If you have cars that you have built, the qualifying round for that race, well, it's already happened. So that race will happen later this evening. So from all of us over here at Elevation Diecast Racing, if your car isn't fast, remember folks, at least it'll look good on the shelf. See ya.